Jake's eyes snapped open just past 5 a.m. on the motel's lumpy mattress. Manila folders lay scattered across the cigarette-burned desk, the Meridian Trust job from 15 years ago. $47 million in bearer bonds and cash that vanished without a trace. What made Jake's blood run cold wasn't just the scope, but the surgical precision. No alarms, no witnesses, just a vault full on Friday and empty Monday morning. Jake rolled off the bed and checked the parking lot. His Harley sat coated in frost. No unfamiliar vehicles, but the prickle between his shoulder blades told him his luck wouldn't hold. His burner phone buzzed. Unknown number. Mr. Morrison. I believe you have something that belongs to me. The voice was smooth as aged whiskey. Must have the wrong number. Storage Unit 247. Ring any bells? The motel room suddenly felt smaller. Check your bike. Jake grabbed the documents and his Desert Eagle, moving with practiced efficiency. Under the rear fender was a manila envelope. Inside were photographs, him entering the storage facility, loading boxes, shaking hands with Martinez. The final photo made his blood freeze. Martinez slumped over his desk, a dark stain spreading beneath his head. Jake dialed the number on the attached business card. Let's discuss terms, the voice said. You return every document from that unit, and this misunderstanding disappears. If you refuse, your story becomes very short, along with anyone else who might have seen those documents. I know about your friend Rosie. The threat hit Jake like a physical blow. Leave her out of this. That's entirely up to you. 1247, Riverside Drive. Midnight. Come alone, come unarmed. The parking garage beneath the federal building felt like a tomb at 11 p.m. Agent Chin emerged from the stairwell alone. Your message said you had answers about who killed Tommy, Jake said. Chin pulled out a folder. The Meridian heist wasn't just about money. The crew took financial records connecting powerful people, senators, federal judges, even people in my agency. That's why the case went cold. Deputy Director Harrison had the crew killed to keep them quiet. Your storage unit lit up every monitoring system. Harrison knows exactly where those records are. So Tommy died because some corrupt Fed wanted to cover his ass. Chin pulled out another document. 3 senators, 2 federal judges, dozens of FBI agents on the payroll. She hesitated, then pulled back her sleeve, revealing a faded tattoo. 15 years ago, I was on Harrison's payroll too. But I'm tired of being a dirty cop. What do you want from me? Help me take Harrison down. Together, we can expose the whole network. Jake thought of Tommy's ghost. There's one problem. You still think like a cop. Harrison's not playing by those rules anymore. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we stop playing defense. Harrison wants a war. Let's give him one. The motel room smelled like disinfectant and broken dreams. Jake sat watching the security footage for the 3rd time. Maya paced by the window, her federal agent instincts on alert. We need to contact the bureau, she said. And paint a bigger target on my back? These people already killed Henderson. A car door slammed in the parking lot. Then another. Jake's blood chilled, multiple vehicles arriving simultaneously. Kill the lights, he whispered. Through the curtains, he caught glimpses of tactical gear and weapons. Professional extraction team. Back exit? Maya breathed. Jake shook his head. Single-story motel, bathroom window too small. They were trapped. Footsteps stopped outside their door. Someone was picking the lock with professional efficiency. Maya positioned herself beside the door, weapon drawn. The lock clicked. The door cracked open, a fiber optic camera snaking through. Jake pressed against the wall, praying the shadows would hide him. His phone buzzed. The blue glow lit his face for a split second. The door exploded inward. Flashbang grenades detonated, turning the world into searing white noise. Jake rolled toward the bathroom as automatic weapons fire chewed through the space where he'd been standing. Window! Maya shouted. Jake grabbed Henderson's laptop and hurled it through the bathroom window. The duffel bag followed. More gunfire erupted. He heard Maya grunt in pain, saw her stumble. Blood darkened her shoulder. Sirens wailed in the distance. The attackers retreated, engines roaring as they escaped. 3 FBI agents crammed into the motel room. Agent Sarah Chin sat across from Jake. You bought storage unit 247 3 days ago. What did you find? Documents, financial records, shipping manifests, surveillance photos. Where are these items now? Safe. Chen's jaw tightened. We're not playing games. The Meridian Casino heist, $12 million vanished, 3 guards murdered. If you have evidence, then you'll want to catch the people who did it, Jake interrupted. But first, I need guarantees. You're not in a position to make demands. I called you, remember? But people are trying to kill me for this stuff. Maria pulled out her laptop, displaying photos. These shipping records show regular transfers between 3 shell corporations before the heist. Movement outside, Martinez said from the window. 2 black SUVs. Everyone froze. Chen reached for her radio. Those aren't your people, are they? Jake asked. No, Chen said grimly. Davis, call for backup. 6, maybe 8, Martinez said. They're spreading out. Jake grabbed his .45. There's a service corridor behind the ice machine. Connects to the next building. Backup's 15 minutes out. We don't have 15 minutes. They moved toward the door, but footsteps echoed from both directions. They've got both ends covered, Martinez said. The exhaust vent, Maria pointed, leads to the roof. A keycard beeped in the lock. Jake spun toward the door as Chen and her agents took defensive positions. Maria scrambled into the vent, followed by Chen, Martinez, then Davis. Jake was backing toward the bathroom when the door exploded inward. Men in tactical gear poured through, assault rifles raised. He dove as bullets chewed through the door frame. The motorcycle's engine died with a metallic wheeze outside Bakersfield. Jake's fuel gauge had been flirting with empty for the last 10 miles. The chrome beast was showing its age. The truck stop had been closed for years, parking lot cracked with weeds. Jake's ribs ached, a reminder of Martinez's hospitality. The cash from the storage unit was still in his jacket, $43,000. That sounded like a fortune until you were living on the run. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. You've led us quite a chase, Morrison. The voice was smooth, educated. Someone who'd like to have a conversation about what you found in that storage unit. Don't know what you're talking about. The Meridian job. $15 million in bearer bonds. Ring any bells? Jake's blood turned to ice. I'm listening. Right now you're sitting on a dead motorcycle at the old Sunset Truck Plaza, wondering how much trouble you're in. Jake scanned the darkness. Nothing moved. What do you want? The bonds. And what Tommy Valdez told you before he died. Tommy didn't tell me anything. I don't think that's true. Tommy was paranoid. He left breadcrumbs. And according to Detective Martinez, you found something that has the FBI very excited. Martinez is dead. Yes, unfortunate. He got greedy, started thinking he could cut his own deal. That's always a mistake. The casual admission sent a chill down Jake's spine. Tomorrow at noon, drive to the Desert View Motel on Highway 58, room 127. Come alone, bring everything Tommy left you, and we'll discuss terms. And if I don't? Then Agent Chin gets to investigate your murder instead of the Meridian heist. We have people everywhere. Martinez wasn't our only friend in law enforcement. The line went dead. Jake sat in the darkness. The smart play was to run, disappear into Mexico. But the bonds were worth millions. And somewhere in Tommy's papers was information that could expose whoever was behind this. He kicked the motorcycle back to life and headed into the darkness. The warehouse on Riverside's outskirts felt like a tomb. Jake killed the Harley's engine. Marcus checked his phone against coordinates from the coded files. Building 47, Bay Street Industrial Complex. Jake shouldered his backpack, feeling the weight of evidence they'd gathered. 3 days of following breadcrumbs had led here, where Vincent Torino had stashed the real prize. Not just money, but something that made $23 million look like pocket change. Stay sharp, Jake muttered. If we figured this out, Torino's people might have too. They moved through the warehouse like ghosts. Marcus consulted his phone. Bay 47J should be there. Jake spotted subtle differences in the wall, newer concrete, hairline cracks forming a nearly invisible rectangle. Hidden room, Jake said. Marcus found slight depressions in the concrete. When his palm hit the third spot, something clicked. The hidden door swung inward. I don't think that's true. Tommy was paranoid. He left breadcrumbs. And according to Detective Martinez, you found something that has the FBI very excited. Martinez is dead. Yes, unfortunate. He got greedy, started thinking he could cut his own deal. That's always a mistake. The casual admission sent a chill down Jake's spine. Tomorrow at noon, drive to the Desert View Motel on Highway 58, room 127. Come alone, bring everything Tommy left you, and we'll discuss terms. And if I don't? Then Agent Chin gets to investigate your murder instead of the Meridian heist. We have people everywhere. Martinez wasn't our only friend in law enforcement. The line went dead. Jake sat in the darkness. The smart play was to run, disappear into Mexico. But the bonds were worth millions. And somewhere in Tommy's papers was information that could expose whoever was behind this. He kicked the motorcycle back to life and headed into the darkness. The warehouse on Riverside's outskirts felt like a tomb. Jake killed the Harley's engine. Marcus checked his phone against coordinates from the coded files. Building 47, Bay Street Industrial Complex. Jake shouldered his backpack, feeling the weight of evidence they'd gathered. 3 days of following breadcrumbs had led here, where Vincent Torino had stashed the real prize. Not just money, but something that made $23 million look like pocket change. Stay sharp, Jake muttered. If we figured this out, Torino's people might have too. They moved through the warehouse like ghosts. Marcus consulted his phone. Bay 47J should be there. Jake spotted subtle differences in the wall, newer concrete, hairline cracks forming a nearly invisible rectangle. Hidden room, Jake said. Marcus found slight depressions in the concrete. When his palm hit the third spot, something clicked. The hidden door swung inward. See. Every shadow could hide a sniper. The FBI van was positioned 3 blocks away. Agent Chen's voice crackled through his earpiece. We have eyes on the perimeter. Get Santos talking about the heist. Jake touched the recording device taped to his chest. The plan was simple. Exchange evidence for Elena's location, record Santos's confession, signal for the FBI. Plans rarely survived reality. He pushed through the chain-link fence. The warehouse's main entrance hung open like a broken jaw. Jake drew his .45. Inside, shafts of sunlight cut through gloom. His footsteps echoed despite attempts at stealth. Jake Morrison. Santos stepped from shadows, flanked by 2 men in expensive suits. You look good for a dead man. You look good for someone whose empire's about to collapse. Where's Elena? Santos nodded to his man, who held up a phone displaying video feed. Elena sat tied to a chair, face bruised but eyes defiant. Let her go. I brought what you want. 23 years I've waited for those files. Do you know what they contain? Enough to put you away forever. Jake produced a USB drive. Financial records, witness statements, photos. Everything the FBI had before someone tipped you off. Santos's eyes glittered. Agent Patricia Voss. She was so easy to turn. She died believing she'd destroyed all evidence. So you killed her. I killed many people to protect my empire. Voss, the witnesses, even some of my own men who grew careless. The Riverside Trust job was my masterpiece. $47 million. The FBI never came close because I had inside help. Because you understand everyone has a price. Santos stepped closer. Even now, I could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Jake shook his head. I've seen what you do to people who work for you. Santos's expression hardened. Then you've chosen poorly. Concrete pillar, gunfire exploding around him. The USB drive skittered across the floor. FBI! Drop your weapons! Agents poured through every entrance, tactical lights cutting through shadows. Santos screamed orders as his men scattered, but they were outgunned and surrounded. The warehouse erupted into chaos. Santos's men drew weapons as Jake dove behind A. Jake stayed low. A guard tried to flank him. Jake's .45 barked twice, dropping the man. When the gunfire stopped, Santos lay bleeding. Chen stood over him with her weapon drawn. Vincent Santos, you're under arrest for the murder of Agent Patricia Voss and the Riverside Trust robbery. Jake emerged from cover. Elena, where is she? Santos glared up, blood staining his expensive shirt. You think this ends it? I have people everywhere. You'll never be safe. Tell us where the girl is. Santos just smiled, and Jake felt his blood turn to ice. The warehouse felt like a tomb as Jake crept through shadows with Agent Chin. The text had been simple. Unit 247. Come alone or Maria dies. They reached the unit. The door stood partially open, darkness beyond. This screams trap, Chin muttered. Maria? Jake called. Jake, don't come in. Her voice came from deep inside, strained with terror. Jake was already moving. Maria sat tied to a chair, duct tape across her mouth, eyes wide but alert. Let her go, Torino. This is between us. Oh, but it's so much more. Vincent Torino stepped from behind covered furniture, immaculate despite grimy surroundings. You have something that belongs to me. 20 million in gold bars I've been searching for since your unfortunate storage unit purchase. The FBI might disagree about ownership, Chen said, weapon trained on Torino. Agent Chen, your reputation precedes you. Torino produced a detonator. This warehouse sits above the old storm drain system. I've placed charges in strategic locations. One press and everyone dies. E-building. You've got 5 minutes to decide, Torino continued. Jake's mind raced. The gold was in FBI storage. Even if they wanted to trade, it would take hours. You're not planning to honor any deal. You're going to blow this place regardless. Torino's smile widened. Very perceptive. I've lived in shadows for 20 years. Tonight that ends. Either I walk away free or I take my enemies with me. Maria made a muffled sound, eyes darting behind Jake. They weren't alone. The end game was beginning. 3.5 minutes left on the clock. The rooftop lights flickered as Jake pressed against concrete, listening to approaching footsteps. Koslov's men had found them faster than expected. This way, Chen whispered, motioning toward a service corridor. The duffel bag containing $27 million in bearer bonds felt heavier with each step. If we can reach the roof, SWAT should be in position. The elevator groaned to life as shouts erupted behind them. Jake caught a glimpse of 2 men rounding the corner, weapons drawn. Doors closed with agonizing slowness as gunfire erupted. 17 years that storage unit sat there, Jake muttered. And I had to be the idiot who bought it. The elevator lurched to a stop. Through opening doors, Jake saw the warehouse roof under night sky. Between them and safety stood Victor Koslov himself, flanked by massive bodyguards. Mr. Morrison, you've caused me considerable inconvenience, Koslov said, accent thick with mock politeness. You killed my friend Tommy. So we're even. Your friend was unfortunate collateral damage. But you've been far more troublesome. Koslov's cold eyes fixed on the duffel bag. Those bonds represent more than money. They represent reputation, legacy. They represent evidence, Chen said. Evidence that'll put you away for life. Koslov laughed like breaking glass. Agent Chen, your FBI colleagues are thorough, but they arrived too late. That's when Jake heard it, helicopter rotors in the distance. Dmitri, take the bag, Koslov commanded. The massive bodyguard stepped forward, but Jake was ready. He swung the heavy duffel in a wide arc, catching Dmitri across the face. Chen drew her weapon, but the second bodyguard tackled her. Jake dove for her fallen gun as Koslov pulled his pistol. "Enough!" The voice boomed as floodlights blazed. FBI tactical officers emerged from positions Jake hadn't noticed, rifles trained on Koslov's crew. The helicopter thundered overhead, spotlight turning night into day. "Viktor Koslov, you're surrounded. Drop your weapons!" Everything froze. Jake saw calculation in Koslov's eyes. Then the crime boss smiled. "You think this ends here? The Meridian job was just the beginning. There are others, bigger scores, deeper connections. Taking me down won't stop what's already in motion." "Maybe not," Jake said, helping chin up. "But it'll stop you." Within minutes, Koslov and his men were in custody. The duffel bag sat safely in Agent Harrison's hands, its contents finally returning to federal custody after nearly 2 decades. "You know there'll be questions, paperwork, probably a grand jury," Chen said. Jake nodded, watching Koslov led away in handcuffs. "Tommy deserved better than dying over someone else's greed. He'd be proud of you." "Maybe." Jake looked out over city lights. "Think I'll stick to buying storage units with old furniture from now on?" Chen laughed. "Somehow I doubt your life will ever be that simple." She was probably right. But as they descended into the warehouse, Jake Morrison, former Hell's Angel, unlikely hero, found himself looking forward to finding out just how complicated simple could be. The Meridian Casino heist was finally closed. But for Jake, the real adventure was just beginning.